All right, guys, kind of an important video. If you got an X3, Harambe, any footplate type system, but specifically, we're going to talk about the X3 footplate because notoriously, this is a question that's brought up a lot. I've mentioned this in past videos, but the concern is that the X3 footplate has an issue with it, and it's prematurely wearing bands, and most specifically, it's cutting bands in that little corner piece. And I wanted to make this video because I had a viewer, a longtime supporter of the channel, reach out to me. They recently picked up an X3, said they're already starting to notice some kind of nicks in their bands, which is causing them to return it, which is obviously not cool. I don't want to promote stuff that's breaking, and I'm not going to give them take them off the hook here. I'm going to actually compare this to the Harambe footplate, which is a much smoother finish there on purpose, so it's not going to cut the bands. I'll even compare my homemade Mac boards, and shameless plug, everything featured in this video can link down below in the description box with some promo codes. I'm going to throw that in there. But you might not like that, what you're going to see here. But I'm going to be as honest and transparent as possible right away here, showing you my stock X3 bands. These are the ones that came with the system, and you can see the areas. Pay attention to kind of some of these areas. You see the kind of the semi-nicks on the side there, and you're going to see some abrasion a little bit in certain specific spots. And I think these spots are the spots that when I first started using them, I was kind of dragging up and down. Here's a hard cut here. This is actually my favorite tension band in the X3, the second to lowest. I think it's the light gray. I love this band, the way it feels, but fortunately this one's probably going to go soon. I think I talked about this on my first or second video that I started noticing this about 2 weeks in because of some of these issues. But again, there's a cut on my second to heaviest gray band, and then you're going to see my black band here too. You can see the layers starting to come off on this one. Not a big deal, still totally functional, but you can see it looked like it kind of started wearing off in that particular area of the band. Now here are the X3 Paraforce bands. These are the ones that are an upgrade, and these are the ones I probably use the most of actually all my bar footplate setup systems. And this one's probably, maybe they're just for a reason, I don't know, but these are definitely durable and strong because these have no nicks in them whatsoever. I went through all these and I couldn't find any issues with them. So that might say something also about the band quality, not necessarily the footplate, which there's definitely an issue with the footplate. Now I'm doing an experiment here. These bands were sent to me recently for a review of the Vector Athletic Belt, so thank you to them. And if you guys didn't see the review, I'll link it down below. That's a great review. Now, if it isn't obvious, what I'm trying to do is do what you're really not supposed to, and this is what people can kind of do. This is how I wore my bands out when I first started using them, but I'm being really dramatic here. I'm using a tight band. I'm really trying to like just drag it up and down, and eventually I snapped it. This is in the span of less than 2 minutes of me just kind of dragging it up and down. You can see that wear and tear of the band starting to rub off, and eventually it finally just had a hard cut there. Now, this is really one of the major issues we kind of have to be mindful about, is that when you are doing these things, you want to go in a nice, smooth, steady tempo, which is ideally how you get the most out of this. But you just got to be, really careful, especially when you're starting to use something, maybe an abrasive surface like the X3 footplate. Now, the next thing I want to show you, well, first, this is the right thing. So this is going to go nice and easy. Notice I'm just going to go, this is a fresh band I'm using now. I'm going to go nice and easy, kind of up and down as if I'm pretending to do reps at a slow, steady tempo. And then in a second here, I'm going to show you what the band looks like. And what you're going to see is there's really going to be minimal wear on this. And I think that's what's causing the issues. And those stock X3 bands, you could see that there were certain spots that had wear. And those were probably the sites that I was kind of really, driving into it. Now I'm going to test the cut and see how much this thing really, if it does, cut the side of the band. Now, again, I'm really digging in here. I'm trying to do this. But this is, again, the span of maybe 1 minute. And I did notice a cut right away. I started to see the cut form, and there you can kind of see it, a closer shot. That's a cut, kind of like what you saw earlier in the video. Now, I kind of heard that my friend Stevie just picked up the X3 system, Stevie Richards, and he didn't get one of these, but I heard some of the X3 footplates were having the rollers put on them, so I don't know if that's true or not. Now, not to put Harambe off the hook, because now here's the Harambe footplate, their small T-bar footplate. And for the sake of time, I didn't spend as much time kind of showing you guys the clips, but basically I smelt the burnt rubber or latex, and you can see again here, this is also wearing the band out. And then I tried even on my Mac boards, and you're going to see essentially the same thing here. I smelled the burnt rubber, and I can see the band really kind of chipping away. So the moral of the story is I think the X3, you got to be careful on that side. Is definitely potential of cutting it. But regardless, whatever kind of footplate you're using, you can create hard friction if you're not using it properly with the right resistance. So just putting that out there. Hopefully you guys get something out of this. Any questions or comments, sharing your opinions on what you got to do with this, let me know. I just don't want you guys being sold a faulty product. But again, make sure to kind of use it a certain way. And maybe X3 does have to address this footplate issue.